I request all the panelists to switch on your video. We can start the session. Over to Anshuman Pa.
Okay, sir. Okay, so let's start with the story of a small town girl. A small town girl hoping to be an engineer like you, to be crowned Miss India, Miss World, and then to take Bollywood as well as Hollywood by storm. What a story of courage, hope, and big dreams. And in this journey, the diva, Priyanka Chopra, have always emphasized on financial independence of a woman. Then there are young, educated, outspoken women like climate activist Disha Ravi, Pinjra Tor, feminist Debangana Katia, and Natasha Narwal, whose eloquence are emerging as the epicenter for the economical and societal changes in our country. On another front, there are women leaders like the NASA scientist Dr. Swati Mohan, all harmonizing with the spirit of feminism. And today, 8th March, framed as International Women's Day, in the fiesta of this gallant, gorgeous women who are gifting mankind with new dimensions. As a man, it's an honor for me to profess that we in Shurendra Institute of Engineering and Management, on behalf of the Department of Computer Science and Engineering, a department which is under the hegemony of a lady, would be commemorating this victorious, vivacious, amazing day, and we heartily welcome you all. Today, we also have with us another diva, Ms.Vaijayanthi Srinivasaraghavan ma'am, who is a great, substantial, and a great achiever. Ma'am will be formally introduced to you very soon. We heartily welcome you, ma'am, to this exclusive session. Now, without any further delay, let me have the privilege to call Principal Sir Dr. S. Nagarajan for the formal inaugural address of today's exclusive event. Over to you, sir.
स्थिरैरङ्गैस्तुष्टुवासस्तनूभिः व्यशेम देवहितं यदायुः ॐ स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः.
Respected Chairman Sir, Director Madam, and today's chief guest, Ms. Vaijayanthi Srinivasaraghavan, Associate Partner, Workforce Management at IBM. Dear students, staff members, and participants from other organizations, a very good morning to one and all present over here. We are all gathered here today to celebrate the International Women's Day. I am extremely glad that I have been given this opportunity to host the program and deliver the inaugural speech. In India, we celebrate Sarojini Naidu's birthday as National Women's Day every year on February 13th. But International Women's Day is celebrated in many countries around the world on 8th March. This year, theme for International Women's Day as Women in Leadership, Achieving an Equal Future in a COVID-19 world. It is a day when women are recognized for their achievements without regard to divisions, whether national, ethnic, linguistic, cultural, economic, or political. Women have deserved so much than just a day in a year. The power they have inside is enormous. This day is a reminder for every human being in the world to love and admire women, for they deserve it. I express my gratitude to all women, grandmothers, mothers, sisters, daughters, wives, friends, and peers, professionals, to all known and unknown women. We have to respect women not because of the gender, but for their own identity. We have to accept that both men and women contribute equally to the betterment of the home and society as well. It is the woman who brings life. Every woman is special, no matter where she works at home or in office. Women have deserved so much than just a day in a year. The power they have inside it enormous. This day is a reminder for every human being in the world to love and admire women. A woman is so much more than just a human being. She has God's power to create a life, to cope with so much pain and somehow always end up being the strongest one in every room. Such an amazing personality to thank all the beautiful, wonderful, charming women out over here. Thank you for making life possible. Thank you for being so different and strong. Once again, I wish every woman a happy Women's Day. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your great and impressive speech. Good morning to one and all present here. I, Mrs. Jayashree Bashak, Assistant Professor, Department of Computer Science and Engineering, SIM Shiliguri, and I would like to welcome you all to this session. I would like to express my gratitude to Principal Sir, the Chairman Sir, Director Ma'am, and the Management Committee of this organization. We have gathered here in virtual mode to celebrate International Women's Day. It is a great pleasure today for me to introduce our Honorable Chief Guest, Ms. Vaijayanthi Srinivasaraghavan, the Associate Partner of IBM Global Services India, Bangalore, who is going to enlighten us with her immense experience and valuable words on this special day. I am very much delighted to express that Ms. Vaijayanthi Srinivasaraghavan has a vast 26 years of experience in project management, consulting, vendor management, and knowledge management in a diverse and global environment. She has completed her master's in business analytics from BITS Pilani and bachelor in engineering as first rank from University of Madras. She has received many significant service excellence awards from IBM and other renowned forums during her career. Besides that, she is the author of 2 books, Shape It and Career Compass. We are really thankful to her for taking the time out of her busy schedule to attend this virtual event. Once again, welcomes you, ma'am. I request you to share your valuable words with us. Over to you, ma'am. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, Jayashree. That was a wonderful introduction. And first, I would like to thank the management and particularly Nagarajan sir, who had reached out to me and he said, why don't you come and address the students? I would be very happy. And I really latched on to that opportunity. I said, why not? And thank you so much, everyone. So I'm going to take half an hour, if you can, all the students, particularly the girls who are there today, if you can pay a close attention to what I'm going to talk about. It's going to be my own personal experience, what I have been through, and there could be some takeaway for you as well, right? So that's the whole idea of the next half an hour. And then I'll open it up for question and answer session. Please feel free to ask any questions. I'm going to share my screen, Jayashree. Just give me a thumbs up or some kind of an indication that you can see my screen. Then I'll get started, okay?
Okay, ma'am.
Who can share? I think, sir, I'm not able to share my screen. Is there anything else to be done for this? Could you just check once? Yeah, now I can share it, okay? Okay, are you able to see my screen?
Yes, yes. Yes, ma'am.
So I want to tell all of you that there's something common between you all and me, that one common thing is Siliguri. And you know why? Because when I was growing up in my early years of my childhood, I lived in a place called Binaguri, which is pretty much closer to Siliguri. So I'm very much, when I was approached by Nagarajan sir, he said, you have to come and give a talk. I said, why not? And that's such a momentous moment for me in terms of coming and talking. And that bonding of Siliguri, Binaguri, and myself kind of connects everything together. So thank you so much once again to the management for giving me this opportunity. So today I thought I'll take a topic which is very closer to my heart, and I think it will resonate with most of the women who are listening. It could be the faculty, it could be the students, it could be the mother, it could be the grandmother. I think one thing that resonates with everybody is nobody is perfect. Perfect to be imperfect is what exactly that every woman should start embracing. We tend to be too perfect, but we can never be, right? Imperfection itself is a perfect thing in the world today. So how do you really embrace that imperfection is what is going to be the theme. And you will not believe that one of the International Women's Day, the tagline for this year is choose to challenge. If you're going to kind of put anything in your Instagram or a Twitter, please put this hashtag along with the other hashtags. So it'll kind of reach many masses, and people will kind of support you in this activity as well, right? Now, since I belong to the corporate world with 25 plus years of experience, I want to set a context for all of you. What exactly is happening in the corporate world? Most of the students who are in their engineering are going to come into the corporate world. You're going to step into the corporate world. We are facing a real challenge. The challenge that we are facing is called as the leaky pipeline. The leaky pipeline is nothing but the people who come at the entry level, they don't sustain till they become an exec. There is every layer, there is a leakage that we are seeing in the pipeline. If you look at this chart, you see that from entry level to the mid-level management, you see almost 27% there is a drop. When you come to the senior management, there is a 23% drop. And then from senior to exec, you see 18%, and then it goes on to 14%. So if this is the kind of leakage that you see, the organizations are putting in a lot of effort to see how you can arrest this leakage. And I belong to one of the organizations which I'm very proud about, which is IBM. We do quite a lot of work around the diversity and inclusion initiative, which I'm part of as well. How do you really kind of contain this leakage and ensure that women are represented equally at all levels of this management, and we don't lose the women? Because each one of you who come into organization have their own capability, and each one of you have your own trademark, right? Though you are imperfect, but you are really perfect with the right level of qualification that you bring into the system. So this is the context setting I wanted to do, why it becomes very important as to why we celebrate the Women's Day. It's not an affair of one day. It has to be looked in every day, 365 days. You need to keep in mind that there is a leaky pipeline, and we need to help the women, and we need to help them represent equally at all levels. I think that's basic context setting I wanted to do here. As I go further, one of the bigger problems that we have in the industry today is what we call as Tierra Syndrome. I'm sure most of you will understand this. If you don't, I'll try to explain this. Women have the typical mindset that if I do extremely well, I'm really very good at work, I need somebody to crown me and say you are the best, right? That really doesn't happen in the real world. Let you all wake up and accept that when you come to the workplace, nobody is going to come and say you are the best. You have to make an equal effort to say that I am doing this. Women are many times shy in saying, I have done this. I am doing this. I don't know how many of the women are there today in the social network and say they have done this. If you compare us with the other genders, you will find us, we are very shy to say that we have achieved this. That is called as the Tierra Syndrome. We expect somebody to recognize. This even happens at home. If you cook something, you want your spouse to say it is amazingly done well, right? Don't expect that. You start marketing yourself, right? That's very, very important. Come out of this Tierra Syndrome And that's a big problem that we see in the corporate world as well, because you have to promote yourself and you have to make yourself present in the organization and you have to raise your hand. This is a Tierra syndrome is really pulling many women down, and even the girls when they are in their education, they shy away from promoting themselves. And you need to be very, very obvious in promoting and don't be shy of doing things. So in this context setting, I wanted to go here. I don't know how many of you know this art called kintsugi. If somebody knows it, just give some kind of a, in the chat, you say you know it. This is an art which was basically very well known in Japan. In the 15th century, there was a king who ordered the pottery from China, and he started liking those pottery, and over a period of time, the pottery kind of worn out and it broke. And he didn't know how to kind of put them together. He sent it back to China, and then Chinese kind of pasted it, stapled it, and sent it back. He was very upset. Looking at the kind of work, he said, I don't know what to do with this pottery. I can't bring it back to life. Some of the people working for the king said, let us give a try and let's put a gold powder and make it more beautiful, right? So they started kind of putting all the things together and repairing it. And that is where the kintsugi was born. Kintsugi is nothing but the gold, and shuki means join, right? That's exactly what it means. You need to understand that this is a beautiful pottery grid gets broken. You are able to bring it together and give a completely new life. That's exactly what happens in the life of a woman, right? As you grow up, you come across some kind of a situation, you go through some of the downturns in life. You don't get kind of sad and sit there and cry. You have to get over it and transform yourself and see how you can face many challenges going forward. That's exactly what is expected from each one of you who are listening here, right? You are going to be that beautiful woman who are going to transform and make a beautiful pottery of your experience and see how you can take more challenges in the future. And this resonates so well with me because I want to take you to my journey, what I went through. Because if I'm going to talk about theory, nobody's going to believe me, right? Unless I narrate my experience of what I have been through, right? That's precisely what Nagarajan sir was talking to me. He said, ma'am, come and narrate what you have got to say about yourself and the journey that you have been through in the last 25 plus years, right? Here is my story. I think by the name you would have found out I'm a typical South Indian lady from down south because Vaijayanthi Srinivasaraghavan, people know it, it's a South Indian name. I was born in down south in a very orthodox family. My father was in defense. Then we moved around a bit. And then I did my schooling all over India. Every 3 years, you go to a new place, you make new friends. And that's the kind of life I was in, right? I primarily studied in Kendriya Vidyalaya. I studied in KV Benaguri. That's how I know the place, right? And I moved across various places. And then when I joined my engineering, in Chennai. That's my grandparents' hometown. So I came back and I joined in Chennai. I joined University of Madras. I did my engineering. During the course of my engineering, I fell sick, right? I had some kind of a health issue. And finally, they figured out that I was having a rheumatic problem. And my left hand was completely kind of arrested. I couldn't move my hands. And I went through a massive surgery and I became physically challenged. My left hand is physically challenged. I cannot kind of move or be mobile like any one of you. I felt that my whole world came crashing down. I didn't know what to do. Will I really be able to kind of stand up? And the biggest challenge for me, that was I'm talking about in late 80s. Remember, not even late 80s, early 80s when I graduated. And I went through all the doctors. I met most of the doctors in Chennai, in Apollo, everywhere. The doctor said, you have to go through a elbow replacement surgery. And that was very unheard of in those days because not many people have really gone through that. Today, medical advancement are so far than what we have seen in early 80s. So that's when we decided what's the next step I need to do. So that's when one of the doctors in Chennai who wanted to kind of take it as a challenge. And he said, I can make your hand mobile, but it won't be completely functional. I'm going to chip off certain part of the bone. Are you okay with that? I said, perfectly fine. I'm okay with that, because what I want is how I can move my hand and how I can kind of take care of my own things. I can eat, I can lift things. That's exactly what I wanted, right? Because I don't want it to be dependent on anybody. So then they decided to put me under the surgery, and I went through the surgery. And the surgery happened, and I went into my first job. You will not believe the first job I undertook. The surgery was successful. I was able to lift things. I was able to do my work independently. I didn't have any problems. The next thing I did was I took up a job in Chennai, and then I was transferred to Singapore for a long time. I worked in Singapore in one of the prestigious company called National Semiconductor, who were making the semiconductors for I would say, aircrafts, and they were making for the computers. And then I decided to go there and attend an interview. I went there. The first thing they asked me to do was, can you crimp a cable? Can you lift something? Can you lift a computer? Because there was a kind of a doubt that whether I would be able to do that activity, because that's the nature of the work that was involved. And I was very passionate because my background is electrical and electronics, and I'm very, very close to using the soldering machine and oscilloscope and everything. I took it as a challenge, and my first interview was nothing to do with technical interview. It was all about how physically you can show them, you can crimp something, you can lift a floorboard. I had to demonstrate every bit of it. Initially, I felt a little humiliated. I felt, why are they making me do all of these things? Then later I realized, after a few months, I got selected. I asked my manager, you asked me to go through all of these challenging things. You asked me to lift, you asked me to do this. He said, Vijay, my call name is Vijay. He said, Vijay, I made you to do this because I never wanted you to feel that you are different than others. I wanted you to feel that you are one among others, right? That was a very profound statement for me, because he wanted me to feel that I'm equally capable as any other individual, and I can manage my things independently. And that gave me a sense of courage. I said, yeah, I can do it now. So that is where my journey started in my initial phases of my IT, I would call it, as in those days, the IT was not a typical word. We used to call it MIS department, right? And that is how it was called. It was integral part of your management system, and IT together we used to call MIS. That's how it was. I worked in the MIS department of this organization, and I got quite a bit of award there. I was awarded for many of the programs that I wrote there, and I became very comfortable working in that environment. But that comfort did not last long, because eventually they had a challenge in my personal life, and I had to really return back to India. When I returned back to India, I had to really go through of searching for a job again and kind of stabilize myself. Why am I talking about this? Because every phase of women, you will have something that is unknown. You cannot really predict what is really staring at you. And that's when I came back to India. I was clueless what I'm going to do next, because I had a beautiful job, which was completely stable. I never thought something, a personal tragedy would happen that I have to come back. Then I had a child who was very small kid, 3 months old baby, and I was a single parenting mom by then. I had to look around for a job, and I got a job in a company where I started learning Java, ASP, the basic fundamentals of programming. I'm a system side programmer, but now I had to completely transition to a software side of the world, which was completely alien to me. I started doing the transition by doing something I call it a self-learning. I started to become a self-learner. I started applying it hands-on. In the process, I started working with some of the diploma students in the colleges, helping them in the project so that I become more comfortable with the coding and the programming. And that's how I started elevating myself from being a system side programmer to a software programmer. That's my transition happened in my life. I didn't leave it there. I took the life as a challenge. I said, life is all about how you accumulate knowledge. Knowledge is something nobody can take away, right? That's something my grandparents have told me all along. Why I'm talking about my grandparents is my grandfather was a professor of physics in Chennai, and he used to keep telling me, Vijay, remember one thing in life, money can be taken away, but knowledge can never be taken away. And you need to hold on to that so tight. And particularly women, you will come across challenges. If you hold on to the knowledge, you can earn money, you can earn wealth, you can earn all possible things of respect in the world, right? I latched on to that one word called knowledge, right? That's what exactly I did. I did not leave it there. The next organization I went in, I volunteered myself to be part of the Lean Six Sigma Black Belt certification. I took it as a challenge. I said, I would want to be a Black Belt certified person in Lean Six Sigma. That was a manufacturing company. It's Timken Engineering. It has presence in Jamshedpur as well, closer to Calcutta. And of course, they have an office in Bangalore. I took it as a challenge. I started bringing in a lot of lean projects, and I got lean certified person, Black Belt, Lean Six Sigma certified person. That's how my career transition from being a system side programmer to the software programmer, now to the quality person, understanding the quality nuances of just not in manufacturing, but are also in the software side of the world. Now here it did not stop. I was very greedy about the knowledge. I said, I really want to do something more. That's when me and my son both decided that we will have a goal together, right? If he's going to pass his 10th standard, 12th standard, I will also have a goal where I equally will graduate myself in my knowledge and my career. I have to do either a certification or I have to either qualify in another degree and so on and so forth, right? Then I took an interest in forensic. I started doing my forensic studies. I started getting a certificate on forensic as well, because that was another area where you have analytics involved, right? I was very passionate about numbers and women. I keep saying that because I hear Nagarajan sir, I think he started with a conversation that number is very important, financial is very important. I think Anshuman said that, again, one of you said that financial stability for women is very important. You need to know numbers. You can never be, I would say, clueless about what is happening even in your bank account. Don't get me wrong, men, don't get me wrong. The reason I'm saying is, many times I ask this college students, do you even remember the first money your father would have put in your bank account and how much has the interest it has earned and how are you going to manage it in the future? The parents will have to help the child, or the father will have to help the girl child to manage their own finances. The lack of financial knowledge is the biggest problem for women today. And that is when I decided that I have to be passionate about numbers. It's just not engineering. It's not about programming. It's also the numbers that matters a lot, right? That's where I started loving the numbers. I started appreciating the numbers. I started managing my own finances. I started managing and helping my friends in terms of some of the queries related to the finances. That's how I started growing the knowledge about the finances. Right? That's very important for ladies, whoever is listening here. If you think the uncertainty is always staring at your doorstep, you never know what kind of uncertainty will stare at you. Today, you might be thinking, my spouse is managing my finances. That's very good, very good. But sometimes you have to know, if tomorrow something uncertain happens, how do I manage my household? How do I manage my finances? And how do I really manage everything around me so that nobody else takes a control of my life? Right? You're supposed to choose what you want to be. So that's the next thing I did. Me and my son, I told my son, by the time you graduate out, I want to do two things. Yeah, my son is studying his bachelor in aerospace in Netherlands. He's going to graduate out now. I told by the time you graduate out, I would have been done with my second master's. I did my master's in supply chain. I did my master's now in analytics. I graduated. I told my son, before you graduate out, I want to graduate as a master's in business analytics. The next goal I have along with my son is when he is going to complete his master's, I want to complete my doctoral degree, right? So that's what happens when you are having some purpose in life in front of you, you will be able to achieve what you want to achieve. And what I had a purpose in life is the knowledge. I wanted to keep accumulating the knowledge. It's not because I want to flaunt around that I have done master's or doctoral degree, but how I can apply that in my day-to-day work. Whatever you acquire a knowledge, at the end of the day, unless and otherwise you apply, it's of no use. It's going to be stale. Your experience and skill is nothing but how you take your knowledge to the next level. That's precisely what I did. Then over a period of time, what I started doing is I met many youngsters around my job role. I started working on a program called as a University Relationship Program, where I go to the campuses, hire students, I talk to the millennials, I talk to Generation Z. Now you have alphas and betas coming next, right? So I talk to some of the youngsters. In the due course, I met around 10,000 graduates in the last 3 years, one-on-one. They come and talk to me, either they call me over the phone, they talk to me over the LinkedIn, and they started narrating their experiences about why they feel ridiculed about the recent survey that came up in something called as the survey that was done around 4 years back, that not many engineers are qualified to pick up any jobs, right? So many of the students came to me and said, Viji ma'am, this is something that we are not comfortable, and we are hearing this in all the newspapers, we won't get a job. This is the kind of broad brushing that is happening. So that is when I took it as a challenge. I said, why not we flip it around and make a positive story around this, rather than kind of brooding about the quality of engineering graduates, right? So what I did is, me and my co-author, we started going around pan-India and meeting a lot of the institutions, and we started spotting some of the bright students. We met students, we saw who are the brightest from that. We told them to narrate their experiences of how they are different and how they have been successful in terms of their engineering education, how they were able to come up with some kind of a products or services, and they were able to come up with their own company, they were able to have their own startup. We spotted some 50 different students across pan-India, and we decided to have a compendium of student stories, and then we came up with a book that's called Shape It, right? That's the book that gave me in particular a different identity. And that's when I met Nagarajan sir and few others in one of the, I think one of the institution, I met him. And then they came to know that, yeah, there is a book, and this is one of the referred book in many institutes, because this talks volumes about there are wealth of bright students in India, but we miss to spot them. And that's exactly what happens to women as well. We don't get spotted, right? Today, we spoke about Priyanka Chopra, we spoke about many others. To me, every one of you who are in this call is a Priyanka Chopra of your own, right? None of them is less. Every one of you have something different. You might be imperfect, but you are perfect in a certain way that is your own, right? Sorry, if you go on mute, that will be helpful. Thank you so much. Yeah. So everyone has their own identity. So that is how we decided the book called Shape It, right? I don't have a copy right in front of me, but every word, the word S means self-learner, H is a hands-on, and A is an antenna's hub, and P is a problem solver, and E is an entrepreneur. And these 5 words summarizes every individual who wants to achieve something in life. Unless you learn something, you apply it hands-on, and you keep looking around what you want to do every day, something new, and you solve a problem which is societal or whatever be it, and you have that entrepreneurial spirit. Entrepreneur is not selling anything. It's about how you convince the other person that I have something which is new, and you better hear me out. And I want to tell you, hear me. If somebody hears you for 2 minutes, you are an entrepreneur. That's exactly the 2 minutes of the time. If you can kind of convince somebody, you've already become an entrepreneur. That's exactly the quality the women need. We miss out many times of becoming an entrepreneur. That's why I said at the beginning that we want the Tierra. Tierra need not come to you. You define your own Tierra, and you crown yourself and walk head high, saying that I have done this, I have achieved this, I can do this, right? That's precisely what is required from all the beautiful women who are listening to me in this call today, including the faculty, including the students. And I want to say that in my journey, there were a few men who came along with me, and I want to thank them, right? Without men, it's very, very challenging. You need something called as a men allyship. You cannot forget that. What is a men allyship? I tell women, you talk like a woman, but walk like a man, right? or you need to kind of present. You can't come into a meeting room and be in a chair and you take one corner of the chair. You need to comfortably own the chair. That's very, very important. You need to behave like a man, but you need to talk like a woman. Why we say that? Because women are sometimes very emotional. They can connect with people. Today, given the COVID situation, many times people say they can connect very well with the women managers. Why? Because today, many women are overworked. I'm sure most of the faculty who are listening into this call will appreciate that you are so overworked. You have to take care of your home, you have to take care of your children, you have to take care of your work. There are 3 big jobs that you're doing in 24 hours. Kudos to all the women. But how do you really do it? You have to observe the men. Many times women are getting emotional. You have to leave it there, the transaction, come out of it, get on to your day-to-day house chores, close it, come back. You need to compartmentalize your thing. Sometimes you have to learn that from men. Men allyship is very, very important. I have men allyship. My men allyship is my son, my father, my grandfather, and my friend. You need to have that men allyship because they teach you where you go wrong emotionally. I go wrong emotionally. They are my benchmark. They benchmark me. They help me to correct myself, right? That's very important. The final thing I want to tell to women is when you are trying to blog, I don't know how many of you are in LinkedIn, how many of you are in social blogging. I see very few women writing blogs, having a social presence. And I see that pretty much. I know I follow some of your faculties, and I would proudly say your principal, sir, is left a mark about your institute in the LinkedIn. I keep watching him, what happens in your institute, and kudos to him, right? And that is the reach of today's social media. How many women have we really gone ahead and blocked something that is related to work or even about the women empowerment? We all will have to do that. Unless women can help women, that's what we say. Allyship is one, but women have to help women. Why people like me are coming and talking in the forum? Because sometimes women relate to other women and they can see their color, they can see how they look. If they can do, so can I do, right? That's how the confidence that you get. If they can do, I can do, so I can achieve wonders, right? That's what exactly happens when women lead a way for the women. And that is why in organizations like IBM and others, we have mentors-mentee program where women are a mentor and there are mentees who come in as women, and we pair them up and we tell them to shadow for a day and see how they really manage their day. How are they able to manage their 24 hours of a day? Similarly, we have men allyship program where we have women shadow men in their work and how they really do things. We are doing a third thing, which is called as a reverse mentorship. What is a reverse mentorship? Today, you have millennials who are very smart with their gadgets. The girls who are listening in the call, I'm sure, as I'm talking, you might be also texting to somebody. You might be doing you'll be doing multi-processing. Forget about multitasking. You're doing multi-processing. And me in Generation X, I'm very poor at that. So we are learning something from you. That is called as reverse mentoring. We are asking the millennials to be our mentor and help us how we can learn the latest of the technology. That's another thing that is happening a big way in the organization. So we as a women in Gen X and be it Gen Y or be the previous baby boomers will have to learn from the newer generation. We should never shy away from doing so. Now, this is the generation I was talking about. The girls who are listening in the call today, you are going to come into the organization where you're going to have 4 different kind of people in the organization. One is Gen Z, Gen Y. These 2 generations you will really recognize. But 2 generations who are Gen X and baby boomers, you can see the age is 1965 to 1976. Typically, they are in their late 40s to mid 50s. They will be in others baby boomers are getting into retirement almost. You will see this generation in the workforce. But why am I calling out this? Is because when you have 4 generations under a roof, one is, of course, a multi-generation as one complexity. Other is the diversity in terms of the gender, right? Both of them are a very complex things to handle today. As a woman, when you come into the workforce, you need to understand you're going to be compounded with two different challenges. One, with the gender diversity. Second, with the generational diversity. So gender diversity is nothing but you come and say, I'm a woman, I want so much, I want so much in pay, so much in percentage, and so much. That is one part of the show. But the second part is generational diversity is your technical knowledge. Your knowledge will have to be very, very important. You have to keep accumulating knowledge. I don't know how many of you know, whatever you learn today is going to retain with you for next 2 years alone, because the technology is advancing so fast. You have to keep replenishing it. I mean, every day you have to spend at least an hour or 2 hours learning something new. Then only you can keep up in pace with this generational diversity, or else you're going to get lost in the system. And this is really happening today. And people like us are coping up every day with this kind of problem. One is gender, the other is generational diversity. So there are 4 generations, and all 4 have different work style, different behavior, and they are very critical to the organization. And you cannot stereotype a person. Every generation comes with a different characteristic, and you need to know how to work with them. And I want every woman to understand this. Gender diversity alone is not the problem you're going to get into. You're going to get into this complex world of all the different diversity I'm talking about now. Now, I want all the ladies to start doing something from today. I call it as a career blueprint. Career blueprint is very, very important. What I started doing early on in my life, I had a mentor by name Sherry Foster. She was an American lady, and she's an American lady. She's now working in an autistic school. She teaches the autistic children in US. And when I came into the organization, I was very clueless. How do I really progress my career? So she called me one day, and I lived in US for quite some time. She called me inside the room and she said, Vijay, why don't you sit down? I'll help you out. She told me, have something called as a career blueprint. What is a career blueprint? Career blueprint is nothing but what you want to achieve in the next 2 years. Start mapping it in a graph. Unless you have that graph in your room, somewhere in a chart, you will never be able to kind of achieve it, because you will say, I will do it later. It's like your New Year resolution. You will never achieve it. You will always put it somewhere, but you will forget it. What I started doing over a period of time is having this career blueprint refreshed every 6 months, not even a year, 6 months. Today, I'm thinking, should I refresh it every quarter? Because the way things are changing around me, the 6 months doesn't hold good at all. You look at the way I had mapped my career blueprint. I realized that I need to have at least 1 recognition in a year. I need to have at least a certification in a year. At least I need to have I need to go and do some public speaking in a year. These are some 3 key things I definitely put on my career blueprint, because your identity is basically about your knowledge as you as an individual and how you are present in front of the public, right? Today, everybody is being gauged by how you are in the public or the social media. Today, Nagarajan sir has called me. I'm picking his name multiple times. Sorry for that. But he would have called me, because don't get me wrong, because we are all called influencers. Unless there are influencers in the social media who will be able to influence people in the right direction, right? So there are some people, followers for us, right? There are certain people. I follow a 6-year-old boy who is very young by name Venkat. He's the youngest programmer in India, and he's my mentor. I'm proud to say he's my mentor. 6-year-old boy, my mentor. Of course, why not? Why is he my mentor? Because he influences me on how I need to hone my technology skills, what I need to learn, how do I need to get certified. By the way, today is his birthday. I wished him before I walked into this call, right? And you won't believe, he influenced me. He said, you've done masters in business analytics. Have you thought about Tableau? I said, what is Tableau? I don't know. He said, you better look into it. There is an analytics tool for visual analytics. You can do a certification on that. And he influenced me and I have completed my Tableau certification 3 months back. And influencers can come from anywhere in the social media. I happen to follow them, and they help me to achieve my success too, right? So why I call the career blueprint, because the career blueprint, you need to have 3 things. 1, what you want to achieve in terms of your qualification, what you want to achieve in terms of being in the social blogging. 3rd, what you want to have a social presence. These 3 are very, very important. And I just put this graph just for you to know that you need to keep updating this graph, and I call it march forward. When you put a career blueprint, you need to stand, today I'm here, you look back what you have achieved, and you correct whatever you've done wrong, and then march forward. One mantra you follow is never get upset and sit down. March forward. That's your mantra, nothing else. You're going to march, put a career blueprint, march forward, achieve it. And every girls who are listening in this today, you might be in your engineering. Start putting your blueprint. First thing you'll put is what? You're attaining your degree. Then you might put something on your project, right? You can talk about your social project, mini projects that you're doing. You can talk about hackathon. These are some small things that you can achieve as you move along. And you will see that your graph will beautifully kind of become so beautiful that you will be filling it up with a lot of things. And that will give you all the courage in life. You don't even have to look at anyone else. You are your better benchmark. Many times people say that, who's your inspiration? Inspiration for me is myself. You don't even have to go around and look at somebody else. My inspiration is myself. And how I benchmark myself, am I better than what I was yesterday? That's my benchmark. Nobody will have to come and tell I'm the best. No, you know what you are. You know what your capability are. And you can aspire to become whatever based on your capability. Capability and aspiration are very, very important for women when you chart out this career blueprint. And that's something I want to really call out, that start working on your career blueprint. Right now, I want to thank all the women, because all the women have certain qualities that not many have, right? One is, of course, the empathy, networking, assertiveness. You see all these skills. You are all very good in multitasking. You are perfect to be imperfect. And I would say every woman who is listening into this call, you are the most beautiful, courageous women listening to this particular session. And I would say that I have a lot to learn from you as well, right? I always say everyone has something that we have to look forward and learn from them. I shared my experience today because I felt that what I have been through, it has been a challenge, but I took the challenge as an opportunity. And I made that I am not a perfect person, but I was imperfect, but I felt that imperfection was the perfect for me. And that's exactly what each one of you have to do. And I think with that, I would like to conclude the session. So all the beautiful women, I think, listening to this, you are what you are, and you be what you are. Don't try to change for what people are telling you, right? Be authentic. Thank you, sir. I think I'll stop my sharing now.
Thank you very much. It was wonderful listening to you. Is there any question? Any question from the students? Any question from the audience? Any question? Ma'am, I have a question. Can I ask?
Go ahead, sir. Go ahead.
Ma'am, I read yesterday one interview by this international author, Isabel Allende. She's a very strong feminist. And she commented, since you're an author, I'm asking you this question. She said that women authors or female authors has to work 10 times harder than male authors. Do you agree to that? What's your view on it, ma'am, as an author?
Okay. Okay, I can only talk from my perspective because I don't want a generalized thing. How I became an author, and is that I work 10 times more than the men. I'll just tell you how it worked for me. I co-authored a book. The other person was a male and I was a female. So it's a two gender working on the same book, right? It's very challenging sometimes because when I write something, it's very emotional. When a male writes, it becomes very factual, right? There are two different things. Men are more in terms of numbers, female are sometimes more in terms of emotions, right? We do talk about numbers, but our emotions are the primary drivers many times. So what happened when I wrote the book, when we were writing the book, the only challenge that I came, it's not that I had to put in a lot of effort, but blending both was challenge, because when one writes in terms of numbers, the other in emotion, how do you really blend both? That was the biggest challenge for us, right? So I would say that it is a challenge that we put 10 times there. 10 times you would put because we have to do the household work. We have to manage few other things as well. That could be the reason. But I did not find a challenge there. I was finding a challenge in terms of amalgamation of the emotions and the facts. How do you bring it together? That was my biggest challenge. And I didn't find a challenge in writing a book. It didn't take 10 times for me, but that was not a challenge at all. Challenge was only the emotions and the facts, bringing it together for us. I hope I answered your question, Anshuman.
I'm sure you have convinced us so much, us all audience, especially when you said perfect to be imperfect, as Emerson says, that the crack on every living being and the crack looks good in living beings. So perfect to be imperfect, the Tierra Syndrome, or most importantly, the entrepreneurial skill, the way you define, hats off to you, ma'am, and the financial independence. Very, very well said and very enhancing, enlightening. Thank you so very much, ma'am, on joining us on behalf of the entire SIM fraternity. I heartily express my gratitude to you for giving us your time, for enhancing our thoughts and showing us so many multiple ways of thinking. Thank you so, so very much for joining us, ma'am. We now request all the panelists, all our audience to switch on the videos for a photo shoot with ma'am. And then we'll share the attendance link. Please do fill it. So can we go for the photo shoot?
I think there is one question that is there for me. I think, ma'am, how do we overcome all challenges and be strongest? Paulomi. Paulomi is for computer science. First thing, I always tell when you have challenges, you cry. You cry over it. You should cry it out first. Second, have an extended family support. Wherever you have a strong father and a brother, I always will say this, when you have a strong father and a brother at home, those girls are so, so blessed because they have the shoulder to lean on. And if you have the strongest mother, you have the shoulder to lean on too. So first, cry it out to your parents. Today, most of the new generation, what they do is they think WhatsApp is the world. Come out of that. You cannot solve the problem in WhatsApp. You have to have that dialogue face to face with your parents, with your siblings, with your brother, with your father, right? You have to become more expressive. Just saying LOL in WhatsApp, people will not really, you mean laughing out loud, right? Unless you express it, right? Start expressing yourself. That is how you can overcome a challenge. Second thing, if you think people around you do not have a challenge, you are absolutely wrong. Everyone who is watching me today, 128 people are watching me, everyone has a challenge some or the other way. Nobody is perfect in this, right? But they know how to manage the challenge. That is the beauty of it. You have to look at them and learn that. If you can do that, follow me, you are going to go places. And I'm sure you know how to face the challenge, and you will be one of the courageous lady. And you are going to tell me, Vijay, I have achieved this, and I want to kind of share my experience with you. And I'll be listening to you one day in a session like this, and I'll be an audience in that session for me. Thank you. Go on, Anshuman. I think there was only one question.
Yeah, I see two question answers. 1 minute. Ma'am, this is Priyanka Paul. She says she has family problems and she can't grow herself. How can she handle it?
Okay, so I think Priyanka, you connect with me on LinkedIn. Sometimes it's very difficult for you to talk in front of 128 member audience here. Do connect with me. I think in one of the forum, I'll tell you just to feel you make you feel better. I was talking in IIM Bangalore last year. Was presenting a paper. One of the madam asked me a question. We have a women entrepreneur cell in our college, and not many girls come and talk to us. I asked them one question: have you ever spoken about your problem to those girls? Right? Why would somebody come and talk to you when you yourself have not opened up? Right? So Priyanka, please talk to me. You will hear from me and my experiences, what I have been through. Then you know you can manage it as well, right? In front of 130 audience, I don't think it will be comfortable for you. Connect with me on LinkedIn and help you with that. And Nagarajan sir is connected with me, and some of you can get my connects from him as well. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your time and wonderful presentation on International Women's Day. I think you are the right person to address the whole audience on this wonderful session. And I take this opportunity to thank my wife, because without her support, I could not be, shifted myself from Tamil Nadu to West Bengal. And I had a really tough time for last 1 year after I switched over from Tamil Nadu to here. The entire country went on lockdown for a year. We never expect this kind of situation in our life. Even if we narrate this to our next generation, they will not believe us. So like that, we had a tough time, and we have learned so many things, and we are keep learning. As you rightly mentioned, we can learn anything from our elders as well as from the youngsters. So I really appreciate your particular session. You have mentioned about the 6-year-old boy as your mentor, and really inspire all the young people over here. And on behalf of SIM and on behalf of my own self, I sincerely thank my gratitude for accepting our invitation to chair this session, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. So Anshuman and Nagarajan sir, I'll take a leave then.
Yeah, sure, ma'am, sure.
And Jayashree, thank you for that wonderful comparing, and keep smiling. And you made my day as well. And it's really nice to see all the ladies smiling. And that's all the positivity that you need to share. Keep sharing the positivity. Thank you so much.
Ma'am, can we click a group picture?
Absolutely. Go on, please. I'll go on mute. You can click a group picture.
Done, ma'am. Thank you so very much, ma'am, once again for joining us. God bless you. Stay well and remain the way you are, ma'am.
Thank you so much. My pleasure. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
I think the attendance link has been shared. Principal, sir, can we proceed further?
Yes, sir.
Okay, we will now request Dr. Papri Ghosh, ma'am, HUD CSC department, to take over the session. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Anshuman sir. Let me share my screen first. Sir, is it visible?
Yes, ma'am, it's visible.
Now, is it visible?
Yes, ma'am, it's visible.
Okay. Thank you, Principal sir and Anshuman sir, for providing me such a wonderful opportunity to announce the name for the Women Empowerment Cell of Surendra Institute of Engineering and Management, Siliguri. Brigham Young said that you educate a man, you educate a man. you educate a woman, you educate a generation. Really, women always plays a great role to educate a generation, to create a new generation. Globally, we celebrate the International Women's Day on the 8th of March to honor the achievements of the women in various fields. This celebration gives acknowledgement to those women's personalities who excelled in their own fields. The Women Empowerment Cell in our college is established to empower the girl student and the staff and to enhance their understanding of issues related to women in the society and face the challenges with great courage. The goal of the cell is to bring about the advancement, development, and the empowerment of the women. This cell creates a feel in them that our college campus is a heaven and second home to them. This cell functions arduously to enhance their status and thereby empower them through guest lectures, seminars, workshops, and various awareness programs and other welfare activities. This cell, the objective of this women empowerment cell is to promote a culture of respect and equality for female gender, to conduct guest lectures, seminars, workshop, as I said, to create a conductive counseling environment for female gender to share their problems, to sensitize the college community on the need of the empowerment for women, to enable the college community understand the role of every women empowerment for women students, to help women students to understand their strength and potential, to educate girl students on women specific health issues and measures to be taken, and to provide help in case of necessity round the clock. So without wasting any time, I'm going to share the name of the members of the Women Empowerment Cell. The chairperson of the Women Empowerment Cell is none other than our respected director, ma'am, Mrs. Snigdha Agarwal, ma'am. The student representatives, we have selected each and every single students from each and every department. The student representative for the civil department is Ashmita Guru, 5th SEM. From the mechanical department is Priya Baraili, 3rd SEM. Devashmita Shah from electrical department, 7th SEM. Ankita Guho from electronics department, 7th SEM. And Neha Singh from CSE department, 5th SEM. The faculty representatives are Mrs. Jayashri Bashak, the Department of Computer Science and Engineering, Mrs. Preeti Thapa, the Department of Humanities, and Ms. Ankita Roy, Department of Mathematics. The admin representatives are Ms. Gayatri Singh, Mrs. Pushpa Darzi, and Ms. Aruna Ekka. And last but not the least, myself, Dr. Papri Ghosh, as a convener of this cell. So now I am very happy to announce that we are going to celebrate the International Women's Day SIM Divas organized by the Spectrum Club of Computer Science and Engineering Department. Not only that, today we are also going to launch our first newsletter Beatwise. So I request to you all not to go and celebrate with us. Now I'd like to request Anshuman sir to take over the session. Over to you, sir. Anshuman sir, are you there? Anshuman sir, you are being muted, sir.
Am I audible now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, before I proceed further, I want all of you to note down a number. The number is 89679-36801. I repeat, 89679-36801. This is the number of my doctor, because today we are going to see such high-profile personalities We are going to listen to most enthusiastic students from our class, from our college, sorry, that I might get a heart attack. So if anything happens to me, please dial my doctor, because we have 5 very enthusiastic women, divas from SIEM, who will be sharing their journey and paying their tribute to 5 substantial women all across the world. That's why this rendezvous. They are divas, they are brilliant, they are outstanding. Most importantly, I think we all faculty members will agree that these are the most enthusiastic students that we have seen in the class. And today we are going to hear them. Allow me to reveal their names in the order of their presentation. First, we will have Chandrima. She is the president of Spectrum Club, and no wonder the Spectrum Club is celebrating today International Women's Day. Then we have Neha Singh, Zenia Mangar, Neha Rani, Ashmita Guru, Zinat Nehal, and a woman's man like me, Satyam Mishra, all presenting and on things like very, very diverse issues, from women of Mahabharata to women as author, women as inspiration, women as social changes, and whatnot. But there's more. Along with these divas will be also presenting to us their inspiration, their source of inspiration among the SIM female faculty members. So, without any further delay, over to all of you. I would request the president of Spectrum Club, Chandrima Thakur, to take over the session. Hats off to you, Chandrima, for organizing everything so very nicely. Over to you, Chandrima.
Thank you so much, sir.
Chandrima, can I take a minute of yours?
Yes, sir.
Due to excitement, I'm forgetting one thing. I had been sent a very nice PowerPoint presentation by the DI of CSE department, which shows the journey of divas of SIM, past and present, of course. Allow me to share my screen once. I'm not able to share the screen. I think host need to disable the screen. Host disable participant screen sharing.
Sir, you
Principal, sir.
You can share the screen, sir. I have given you co-host privilege.
Okay, sir, I will.
Take it. Because you have connected from 2 devices.
Okay, sir.
I'll give you that privilege to second device also. Now you can share your screen. After your presentation is over, please mute yourself, sir, because
okay, sir.
a lot of background noise.
Okay, sir. Is my screen visible?
Yes.
So here we go. This was our last year celebration, and we took a journey through the memory lane. So once again, really hats off to all these beautiful divas who have worked with us or is working with us. But rather, let's hear from the divas on their inspiration as the divas both from SIM and outside the SIM. Now over to you, Chandrima.
Thank you, sir. Good morning to Honorable Chief Guest, Ms.Vaijayanthi Srinivasaraghavan, Honorable Principal Sir Dr. S. Nagarajan, respected faculty members, and my dear friends. Today is International Women's Day, where we get a chance to acknowledge the importance of women. It is the celebration of respect, appreciation, hard work, love, care towards women in every aspect of their life. It is said, history does not belong to us. We belong to the history. Referring to this, today I, Chandrima Thakur, am going to speak about women of Mahabharata who gave us inspiration since the golden era. When we talk about the women of Mahabharata, the first woman that comes to our mind is Draupadi, isn't it? Draupadi, the fiery heroine of Mahabharata, an enigma right from her birth through her marriage that continues to inspire us in today's time. When the prevailing social order required a wife to be faithful to one husband, Draupadi's unusual choice is courageous challenge to the oppressive forces. Throughout the whole ordeal that included a shameful assault on her body and mind, Draupadi kept to manage her head in a place. For a woman who braved intrigue after intrigue, including an odious exile, risky incognito, and a bloody war, even the pleasure of motherhood was denied to Draupadi due to the midnight slaughter. Despite the unimaginable grief engulfing her, she forgave Ashwathama, the murderer of her sons and brothers. Gandhari. When we talk about Gandhari, what is the first thing that comes to your mind? Gandhari was the most beautiful girl of her times. She was qualified by womanly qualities, which was endured by all the members of Kaurava court. Showing that she is a dutiful daughter, she accepted her father's decision to marry Dhritarashtra. Showing great strength of mind and in spirit of personal sacrifice, she voluntarily became blind by wrapping a silk cloth in her eyes when she came to know that her would-be husband was a blind man. Gandhari was a votary of Lord Shiva. Pleased with her devotion, he granted a boon that she would be the mother of 100 sons. She, she was sorely aggrieved that all her sons had been killed in the war and cursed Lord Krishna. Imagine what a gallant, elegant lady she is, that she has the power to curse a god. Last but not the least, I would like to talk about our teacher, Miss Papri Ghosh. She is a part of SIM family for more than 10 years. During this time, she has been inspiration to so many students. She is an amazing teacher and a magnificent mentor. She simplifies the concept for us and make it interesting using daily examples that it becomes easy for us to understand. She has magnificently guided us throughout these years. She is kind, caring, and helped us in our problems. She is patient, organized, considerate, and has a charming personality. All of these qualities makes her an extraordinary woman who inspires me to be a strong woman. Thank you, ma'am, for being a part of our life, and happy International Women's Day to all the women present here. Thank you.
That was great, Chandrima. I think, I believe Papri ma'am has heard you, and really let's give applause for Papri ma'am. Fine. And now we move on to Neha. Are you ready, Neha? Neha Singh? Neha, are you there? Neha Singh, is she there? Shall we move on to the next speaker then?
Yes, sir. You can call next speaker.
Okay, we'll call the next speaker then. After Neha, we have Zenium. Zenium, are you ready?
Yes, sir.
Over to you.
Good morning, respected Director, ma'am, Honorable Chief Guest, Honorable Principal, sir, teachers, juniors, and my dear friends. There's something so special about a woman who dominates in a man's world. It takes a certain grace, strength, intelligence, fearlessness, and the nerve to never take no for an answer, as said by a famous singer, Rihanna. On this special occasion of Women's Day, I, Xenia Munger, of 4th year Civil Engineering Department, would like to speak about two of the most strongest women in India. To start with, firstly, I would like to talk about Disha Ravi. I hope you already know who she is, right? Disha Ravi, a 22-year-old climate activist, was recently arrested by the cyber cell team of Delhi police from Bengaluru for allegedly sharing with Greta Thunberg the toolkit related to the farmers' protest against the three farm laws. Disha Ravi, as claimed by the police force, was an editor of the toolkit Google Doc and key conspirator in the document's formulation and dissemination. The Delhi police took to Twitter and stated that Ravi was the one who shared the toolkit document with Greta Thunberg, a teen climate activist who had shared the toolkit to lend her support to the farmers' agitation against the three farm reform laws. Disha's role came under suspicion by Delhi police after climate activist Greta Thunberg tweeted a toolkit document which the police alleged had led to the January 26 violence in New Delhi. Without naming Thunberg in the FIR, the Delhi police went ahead to register the case against the authors of the toolkit. On 23rd February, a Delhi court granted bail to climate activist Disha Ravi days after she was arrested. The court granted the bail, saying there was scanty and sketchy evidence to back charges of sedition against Ravi. It asserted the citizens could not be jailed simply because they disagreed with government policies. In one of the articles in Times of India, Sagarika Ghosh has written, today young, educated, unspoken women like climate activist Disha Ravi, Pinjra feminist Divangana Kalita, and Natasha Narwal, and student activist Gulfisha Fatima are being imprisoned under harsh laws like sedition or the draconian anti-terror law UAPA. These women are taking up from where their predecessors, such as 1940s women freedom fighters or 1970s left activists, left off. They are pushing the boundaries of freedom even further. According to me, despite all the troubles faced by her, still she stood for the farmers' rights that makes her one of the most reliable citizens of India. Talking about the woman who has been a very good examples of women empowerment, we have Devangana Kalita, a student activist who was accused of 33 offenses including murder, terrorism, rioting, dacoity, criminal conspiracy, and sedition by the Delhi police. And she is just 31 years old. Devangana came to the center of public attention in 2020 after she took part in various anti-CAA and NRC protests in Delhi, and NCR following, which she was arrested in May 2020 in 4 different FIRs, and the Unlawful Activities Act was also slapped against her. She became inclined towards student politics during her days at the Miranda House, University of Delhi. She contested the student council elections as an independent candidate and obviously got elected as the student council vice president of a university. A Facebook page by the name Pinjra Tor, Break the Hostel Locks, was started by Divangana and her friends. The campaign received an enormous response, and women from different areas of India started sending their stories, which they would post on the Facebook page. Devangana was arrested by the police in connection with the FIR for their presence in the sit-in protest against CAA NRC. On the same day when she was released from the jail, a crime branch special investigation team came up with another FIR which comprised grave charges such as murder, attempt to murder, rioting, and criminal conspiracy and sought to arrest them again. The court sent them on police remand for 2 days. Devangana, unfortunately, was rearrested in the 3rd FIR. This FIR was related to the violence that Delhi police again arrested Devangana Kalita and Narwal in the 4th FIR also. and slapped the stringent anti-terror law UAPA on them. She was arrested 3 times in 10 days. Again, on 1st September 2020, the Delhi High Court granted a bail pertaining to FIR calling a detention illegal. Devangana is still lodged in the Tihar jail as the court has not granted her bail after the fourth FIR in the remaining out one of the 4 FIRs registered against her. The road of struggles has made Devangana even stronger and powerful. She will be always there to support the youth out there facing problems. Both of these young women, Disha Ravi and Devangana Kalita, are a strong inspiration for me and never to accept any social injustice. So let's join hands and stand for the Pinjra Tor. Lastly, I would like to wish all the women, beautiful women here, a very happy International Women's Day. Thank you.
Neha is ready now. Neha Singh, can we hear you?
Yes, sir.
All the best.
Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Sorry, there was some technical issue. A very heartful good morning to one and all present here. I am Neha Singh, a student of CSE third year. I am absolutely delighted to be here to celebrate International Women's Day. It is the day to acknowledge their courage of breaking the rigid stereotypes and coming out as a strong and powerful woman. It is the day for praising women who work hard every day to accomplish individual and professional goals. In this male dominated society, women deserve equal freedom and opportunities as the male. The world is moving towards gender equality. It is moving towards a balance between both male and female. A change is required and is also essential. So, on this day, everyone appreciates and acknowledges the worth and significance of women in their lives and their tremendous contribution to society as well. More than 100 years is a true milestone to celebrate. Progress of a woman is progress for all of us. Giving women an opportunity is not an option but a necessity. Moving forward, United Nations Day for Women's Rights and International Peace is celebrated as International Women's Day on 8th of March every year. On this occasion, I pay my respectful tribute to Miss Helen Keller and her instructor Annie Sullivan Massey. Helen Keller was born on 27 June 1880 in Tuscumbia, Alabama. At the age of 19 months, Keller became very ill with a high fever, leaving her totally deaf and blind. Doctors at that time diagnosed it as brain fever. Experts today believe that she suffered from scarlet fever or meningitis. At just the age of 2, baby Keller had lost her vision and ability to hear. Her world became dark and silent. As she was growing in a dark and silent world, she became very wild and an unruly child. She was out of control sometimes. At the age of 7, on 3rd March 1887, Keller was put in the care of Annie Sullivan Massey, who became her teacher and a lifelong companion. Annie Sullivan Massey, whose own eyesight had been partially restored through surgery, unlocked the prison of Helen Keller's dark and soundless world by teaching her to understand words spelled out on her hands. The first word that Massey taught Keller was water. She kept Helen's hand under a flowing water and spelled water in her other hand. There is a very famous proverb, when there is a will, there is always a way. And despite of her disabilities, Keller had always succeeded to find a way with her will. Annie Sullivan Massey had the strength of finding perfect soul in imperfect bodies, who transformed her deaf-blind student into a reader, a speaker, and a writer. In 1904, Keller was the first deaf-blind person to be graduated from Radcliffe College with honors. Keller also believed that the best and the most beautiful things in the world cannot be seen, neither they can be touched. They must be felt with heart. I pay my tribute to both of them using Keller's words. I commend them for the service to humanity by finding usefulness of whole soul in imperfect bodies. In Indian tradition, soul is thought of as a divine perfection, while physical being is just a service subject to various imperfections like defects, deformities, and consequences of diseases and aging. In my view, celebration of International Women's Day is not about empowering women, but it is about recognizing women as a source of life, energy, and knowledge that makes human existence possible. Finally, being a student, I'm always looking forward to learn something new every day. I'm really fortunate to be guided by the teachers of my college, the SIM family. Teachers play a very important role in shaping the future of their students, right from their kindergarten to the university. They are, they are the one who impart knowledge and teach us about everything important. I might not be Helen Keller, but I have definitely found my Annie Sullivan Messi in my college, and she is none other than Miss Amrita Kundu ma'am. There's a very famous adage: you only get one chance to make a first impression. Ma'am joined us last year. The first day I saw her, all I could say was wow. You all might definitely know what it feels like to teach a bunch of engineering students. But what I saw in ma'am was a confident and a passionate woman. There was a charm that she carried that day, and still she carries it with her every day. Her friendly approach is very much liked by everyone in the class. She is always smiling and kind to the student. She teaches us very well and makes us understand the subject with fun learning. We only got to attend few of her online offline classes, and then corona happened and everything got shifted from the traditional classroom to the online classes. But she is very patient and easygoing when we are the one making trouble for her. Finally, thank you so much, ma'am, for bearing with us and teaching us. You are really a live inspiration to many young minds in our college. Thank you, ma'am, and thank you. Over to you, sir.
That was really wonderful. Let's give a big round of applause for Amrita ma'am. Can we all clap for her? And now let's move on to Neha Rani. Neha, Neha, are you ready?
Yes, sir.
Best of luck. Go ahead.
Thank you, sir. Be it in professional life or personal life, celebrating women is a sense of obligation to every woman in one's life. Good morning, everyone. I'm Neha Rani from third semester CSE department. Let me have the privilege to present to you a list of women whose dedication and willpower prove that women aren't behind in any sphere of life. And when they shine brighter than sun, people cannot help but notice their brilliance. Starting with the one who is considered by Forbes to be the most powerful woman in the world, and it's none other than Angela Merkel. Since 2005, Angela has served as the Chancellor of Germany, the first woman in that elected position, and is considered the backbone of European Union. Women writers have to work 4 or 5 times harder than men, said the famous author Isabel Allende. And we can see that this holds true when we talk about the author of a famous book series which is loved by almost everyone here. Guess who? Yes, it's J.K. Rowling. J.K. Rowling is the author of the famous book series Harry Potter. She went from being a jobless single mother living off unemployment benefits to one of the best-selling authors of all time. But it didn't happen overnight. She faced rejection and constantly strived for success. She worked hard at her craft before anyone noticed her, and now she is the most successful author and earned the title of highest paid author of 2019. Next is the fearless human rights activist and proponent of female education, and it's none other than Malala Yousafzai. Malala was shot by a Taliban gunman at just 15 years old, but lived to tell her heroic story. She received the Nobel Peace Prize by age 17, making her the youngest recipient to date. Now, speaking about the woman who was the world's first computer programmer, Ada Lovelace. Ada began algorithm development back in the mid-19th century. That's over 150 years ago. This is especially remarkable because the first computer Charles Babbage's mechanical analytical engine was still unfinished at that time. Next is the most famous and successful tennis player, Serena Williams. Serena Williams is a professional tennis player who has been ranked #1 in the world on 8 separate occasions. She continues to leverage her career for social change and activism through numerous philanthropic and women's rights initiatives, in addition to her personal fund. Now, speaking about Kamla Harris, first-time Senator Kamla Harris, popularly known as Female Obama, created history by becoming the first woman, first Black, and first Indian American Vice President of the United States. Next is a small-town woman who was there on the national news channels recently, Manya Singh. Manya Singh is Miss India runner-up 2021. Manya led a life of financial struggles but was never short of big dreams. Manya's father is an auto rickshaw driver in Uttar Pradesh. Her story has now become inspiration for millions of little girls who aspire to be what Manya is today. And the list is never ending. Just like these strong women who were never short of commitment and dedication towards their work, SIEM has immensely talented and hardworking women, and among them, we are very proud to have Ms. Preeti Thapa, Faculty of Humanities Department. Ms. Preeti joined SIEM last year, and in less than a year, she has made major contributions to this institution. It was because of her efforts and tireless work that Innovatia 2K21 was a successful event. She guided us in every step of organizing the event and was always there to help us. She, along with Raja sir, were always there to encourage us, even on the day when live events of Innovator 2K21 were conducted. Her willpower and helpful character motivates me to work hard and achieve my dreams, and more importantly, to become a better human. Ms. Preeti, thank you for encouraging me to be a strong and independent woman like you, for guiding us and for joining the SIEM family. Last but not the least, I wish a very happy Women's Day to all the amazing and phenomenal women of SIEM. Thank you.
So thank you, Neha, and let's give a round of applause for Preeti ma'am. I find it was great to hear her and her inspiration, Preeti ma'am. Moving on, we will request now Ashmita. Ashmita, are you ready?
Yes, sir.
All the best. Go ahead.
Good morning, everyone. A tiny little dot can go beyond a vast circle like our globe. Dr. Swati Mohan and her Bindi went long beyond the ambit of planet Earth to terrain of Mars. On February 19, NASA's Perseverance Mars rover successfully landed on the red planet. As the world witnessed the historic landing of NASA's Perseverance rover on the Martian surface, it was Indian American scientist Dr. Swati Mohan, the lady with Bindi, was the first to confirm that rover had successfully landed. The Bindi call is the Mars 2020 Guidance, Navigation and Control (GN&C) Operations Lead. In essence, she was responsible for ensuring that the rover follows its trajectory and lands safely on the surface. And the landing was a moment Dr. Mohan had been patiently waiting towards over the past 8 years, the year elder than her daughter. Dr. Mohan was born in Bengaluru, Karnataka, and immigrated to the United States when she was 1 year old. Growing up, she had a very simple life, limited to the close-knit family and small group of friends. But as the time passed, a spark ignited within her, watching the movie Star Trek at the age 9, and she wanted to explore the outside world. Thus, from the day onward, she became interested in space. Initially, she planned to be a pedestrian, but at the age of 16, she took a physics class and decided to study engineering as a way to pursue a career in space exploration. She studied mechanical and aerospace engineering at Cornell University before completing her master's degree and PhD at MIT. On the road to journey of success, she faced many hurdles, but she never gave up. She always believed in the power of dreams, and this burning curiosity took her in a long run. However, in the world full of opportunities and difficult choices to make, a world full of chaos but also kindness, a world of uncertainty yet of hopefulness. She taught us to embrace the life around us. Not only this, she also taught to embrace the unknown and to believe in the power of dreams. As the Bhagavad Gita quotes, Nastri Ratna Samam Ratnam, meaning there is no jewel like women. Truly, there is no jewel like the lady with bindi. Dr. Swati Mohan has not only made our country proud, but also have inspired women across the world to reach for stars, moons, and Mars of their life. Last but not the least, I would like to wish everyone present here a very happy International Women's Day and thank you for giving me an opportunity to be the part of this event. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ashmita. Now, can I request Zinat to speak? Zinat, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, over to you, Zinat.
So before I start, I would like to confirm whether I am absolutely audible, sir.
Yes, you're audible.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. So, I admire her not for a smile, though it was beautiful, not for her eyes, though they shone brightly. I admire her for the battle scars and war wounds that she displayed proudly for the world to see. A very good afternoon to our special guests, the ladies, and also to the gentlemen present here amidst them. Today, my fellow speakers have spoken on valor of women on the ancient fields of Mahabharata to the femme geniuses in the field of science. I am here to bring before you women who shattered the patriarchal world with not swords but literature. I am here to tell the stories of women who took the world by storm, who picked up a pen and bled words on parchments, words that guide us still. One of the many upholding pillars of revolution of feminism in India was Sarojini Naidu, an author, poet, activist, and in her later right, a suffrage. She was the torchbearer of women emancipation and was an important female figure in the struggle for India's independence. Sarojini Naidu dreamed of independence for India through her poetry and was revered as a nightingale, filling the night air with her songs and earning the sobriquet, the Nightingale of India. Naidu voraciously believed that education was the key to allowing women to gain their own independence and identity. And it was such issues that Naidu shared in her speeches and poetry. She says, "What are you? Because your fathers, in depriving your mothers of that immemorial birthright, have robbed you, the sons, of your just inheritance. Therefore, I charge you to restore to your women their rights. For as I have said, it is we and not you who are the real nation builders. And without our active cooperation at all points of progress, all your congresses and conferences are in vain. Educate your women, and the nation will take care of itself. For it is true today as it was yesterday, and will be to the end of human life, that the hand that rocks the cradle is the power that rules the world." Naidu used her creative path of poetry and beliefs as weapons against the restriction imposed upon women. Through her poems, she questioned the barriers that society had raised against women and their individualistic powers. In one of her early works, The Pardanishi, she writes about the plight of women behind wheels constructed by men to protect the beauty, ironically, from the atrocities of men themselves. She was extremely repulsed by how women behind wheels have conditioned for centuries to hide and never to speak out, and how the status of a woman has been reduced to merely an ornamental object and only to be adorned behind closed doors. It was this very practice that hindered women to even conceptualize the idea that men and women are equal. Naidu extensively used poetry to express her feelings on the crisis of women enduring evil social practices. She used her life experiences and horrendous practices within Indian society and emerged them into tales of beauty and sadness. Through her writings, she brought out the courage within women of her time to fight back against their oppression and led them to believe that they are equally capable of whatever their male counterparts do. Her poems continue to be a window that give us insight into the era when words from women weren't often valued or recorded. One of the other female author known infamously for her controversial works, Lihaf,
Ishma Chugtai was one ferocious woman who taught us how to be unapologetically feminist. She was the epitome of women empowerment, the great doyen of Urdu fiction, and a writer who fought for freedom of speech. She was unstoppable, and even after many trips to the prison, she managed to rattle regressive minds, and her rebellious themes raised many eyebrows. In her works, she wrote about the stereotypical roles that women were fitted into without questioning any precincts of established society paradigm. Sarojini Naidu and Ishma Chigtai are two of the many stars in the universe of female writers who rattled the world with their writing skills and turned words and their feminist thoughts into weapons and gave their all to voice the many women who fail to step out of the continuous cycle of abuse and oppression. Their literary works continue to inspire us even today. We hope to pass on their courage and thoughts of equality to the men and women of the future so that they will never stop believing that they are equal and they should respect and view each other on the same level of social and intellectual stature. Happy Women's Day to all the lovely ladies out there and never stop inspiring us. Thank you.
Thank you, Zinat. That was wonderful listening to you. Yes, a clap. I could see your faculties clapping for you. Even I'm clapping. It's like I happen now. It's chance for Satyam, but Satyam, it's Women's Day today, so let's give ladies the chance first. I was being told by the respected DI ma'am, Papi ma'am, that Nimika ma'am has joined us. So it would be lovely to hear from her. Nimika ma'am, are you there?
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. It's lovely to see you all too.
Thank you, ma'am. Over to you.
Ma'am, welcome.
Thank you so much. Good morning, Principal, sir. And a special thank you to Papri ma'am for inviting me for this event. And it feels wonderful to be back in the SIEM family and in the event. Thank you so much. Well, there's only one message which I have for everybody, all the ladies and the men. Well, as you all know, the concept of Ardhanarishwar, that means the entities of a man and a woman are inseparable, the principles. So as a man, you should put forward and empower women as much as possible. And we as women must also support the endeavors of a man. Only then can the world move forward. And my message to all the ladies here is that be a woman who gets inspired by the success of another woman. Fix the crown for a person, but do not tell them that without telling them that the crown was crooked. So that's the message that I have for every one of you. I would like to thank everyone once again, the organizers and Principal Sir, for having me here. Thank you very much. And happy Women's Day, everyone.
Happy Women's Day to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much.
Anshuman, sir.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am. That was wonderful. At least after the chief guest, I think Nimika ma'am also made us feel, we in the sense, we male, me and Satyam, like we are also a part of the show. Thank you so much, ma'am, because everybody was wishing Happy Women's Day to all the women, and we were feeling a bit deprived. So it's good, like you came back and you again enthralled us because we have a male speaker now, a very enthusiastic guy. You could see that from his smile. So over to Satyam now. Satyam.
Yes, sir. I alone cannot change the world, but I can cast a stone across the waters to create many ripples. Good morning, Honorable Principal Sir, respected faculties, and my dear seniors, juniors, and friends. I am Satyam Mishra from third year Computer Science and Engineering Department, here to speak on this great day of International Women's Day on the personality that I believe must have inspired many people in India and around the world. Mrs. Salumarada Thimakka, who is a perfect example of idea that age is not a limitation when it comes to goodwill. Born in 1910 in Kingdom of Mysore, presently known as Karnataka, India, she is an environmental crusader even past the age of 100, noted for her work of planting and tending 385 banyan trees along a 4-kilometer stretch highway between Hulikal and Kadur. She also planted other 8,000 trees over her lifespan. With no formal education, she worked as a laborer in a quarry. According to reports, she began planting trees because she and her husband was unable to bear children. The name Salumarada, meaning row of trees in Kannada language is how she was referred because of her work. Her acts got international attention of international media, and the 105-year-old named in the BBC's list of 100 most influential women in 2016. She also received the 4th highest civilian honor of India, Padma Shri, in 2019, and a US environmental organization based on Los Angeles and Oakland, California, called Himakka's Resources for Environmental Education is named after her. Today, Himakka is invited to many afforestation programs in India. She has been involved in other social activities like constructing a tank to store rainwater for annual fair held in her village. She also has a dream of constructing hospital in her village in remembrance of her husband, and a trust has been set for this purpose. In 1999, a documentary titled Himakka Mathu Makalu was made on her work and featured in 2000 international film festivals of India. Today, when we are concerned about climate change and people are expressing their concerns and talking about planting trees, preserving natural habitat, Mrs. Himakka is a perfect example of what Mahatma Gandhi once said, be the change you want to see in the society. We should take an inspiration from her that we should not talk but rather act. Nowadays, we express our concern for environment and never really have done something about it. Like Zenyamdi said, we have a young activist like Disha Ravi, who is actively involved in environmental and social issues. Since we are attending this event online, all the people who are attending this session, I believe we all have a social media account and access to the internet. When we use these sites, you will see that something is trending, and naturally, we start posting and expressing our views on that topic. And some days later, we forget about it. This is where we should learn from Timakka's that not only she planted trees, but also nourished them, which teaches us we should do something. When we do something, we do it with passion, and you should be consistent. Last but not the least, I want to talk about one of our very own great faculty, Mrs. Joycery Basak, ma'am. It has already been a year since she joined our SIM family. This semester, I had the privilege to learn from her. She's an excellent teacher, and I'm sure she's an extraordinary woman. I'm very much inspired by her, and I'm sure that students that are present here agrees that ma'am always focuses on building concepts and encourage us to move ahead and do experiments, and is always there to help us. This allows us to apply what we have learned in real life examples, and you will know, and you all know, that how much she encourages questions and always eager to answer. This has motivated me to not just learn, but ask, to not just study the concept, but apply. Thank you so much, ma'am, for being with us, giving us your precious time whenever we ask you. On behalf of the students, I want to express my sincere gratitude for being such a great mentor and guiding us through, ma'am. Thank you, and happy International Women's Day to all the women that are present here.
Thank you, Satyam. And I personally, I think it wouldn't be too much to say. I would like to add here one thing, since you mentioned about Joycery, ma'am. I think this is the first event that I'm doing non-economically and non-constitutional wise. In the sense, it's not a part of my economic class or neither a part of constitution. So to do this overall thing, I think Joycery, ma'am, was a very good coordinator. It was great working with you, ma'am. So once again, a round of applause for you. As we come almost to an end, but hold on, the surprise is still there. But before I give on to my next speaker, Adiba again, and let me share to the world of one of my very favorite students, as Neha Singh says, on one of my favorite women, Helen Keller. Some beautiful things in life cannot be seen or touched, they should be felt. And working in SIM, here are some of the divas whose name we have not heard, but let me have the privilege, or rather an honor, to announce the name of this wonderful ladies who are working constantly, enhancing us. And personally, I think I should like to call the name first is Gayatri ma'am. I hope ma'am is listening, for constantly troubling whenever the work is done, because I am also connected to journalism and I understand the importance of deadline. An event has to be done, the report has to be covered on that day. every time Gayatri ma'am has been always helping us. All that you see in Facebook, the credit goes to this lady. Let's give a big round of applause for Gayatri ma'am. I believe, ma'am, you're listening. And then we had this faculty, Max has been always a fear for me, but she's not at all fearful, Ankita ma'am. I'm sure she's a very good teacher. And let's give a big round of applause for Ankita ma'am. I believe Abhiksha ma'am is listening. She's not there, though. So round of applause for her, a good friend of mine also, Abhiksha ma'am. And then we have Tanya ma'am, the lady at the reception. When you enter, always greets us with a positive smile. So this clap it for her. Then we have Pushpadi, a receptionist, come nurse, and everything, a multitasker. Today the chief guest also spoke about this multitasking. And let's big round of applause for Pushpadi and all those ladies has been maintaining this college so well. We have, I think we all have understood the importance of hygiene factor in COVID. So this clap and this round of applause is for all those ladies who have been after us, who work behind the stage, behind the screen. We don't even know that the washroom is clean because of them. So a round of applause for them. And now, hold on. As I said, there is a big surprise. And to unleash the surprise, may I have the honor to call Amrita Kundu ma'am. Ma'am, over to you.
Thank you so much, sir. It's always so nice to listen to you. You have been my inspiration when it comes to speaking.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Principal, sir, I would like to request you to give access to Arindam, sir, so that he can share his screen.
Thank you, sir.
Arindam is the co-host. He can.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Principal.
Amrita ma'am, before you start, can I take a minute? Just a fraction of a second.
Yeah, yes, sir, sure.
I forgot a wonderful pillar. How could we forget that? That's absolutely fault from my side. I think in the engineering college, the placement cell plays a very strong role. And I'm extremely sorry if she is listening. My apologies. Nivedita ma'am, she's newly joined us. Welcome to the SIM family. It's so good to have you. And Yoshi ma'am has always raised a clap. So let's give a clap for her. Sorry once again, ma'am, for missing out your name. Fine, as I said, see, I'm getting sick, chances of getting heart attack. So forgive me, because listening to all good speeches and all powerful women. So over to you, Amrita ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Arindam, sir, could you please share your screen?
Yes, ma'am. Is it visible, ma'am?
Not yet, sir.
Is it visible now?
No, sir, not yet. So you can stop sharing and do it again.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it.
Amrita ma'am, if you allow me to share my screen, because I think in there the internet connectivity is a little bit low.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am, of course. Anyone.
Just a minute, ma'am.
Is it visible now?
No, sir, not yet.
Amrita ma'am, can I?
Yes, ma'am. Anyone.
Yeah. I think Arindam sir has done. Yeah. I think it is getting.
Is there any problem at your end, sir? Then we can give it to Papi ma'am.
Arindam sir, let me do this. Hello. I think he has been disconnected. Let me do this. Is it visible?
Ma'am, the previous screen that was shared by sir is visible.
Arindam sir, please stop sharing your screen so that I can share. Now is it visible, Amrita ma'am, my screen?
Yes, ma'am, it is visible.
Yeah, you can start.
Hello, everyone. First of all, happy Women's Day to all of you. I would like to thank respected Kamlesh Agarwal ma'am, Pro VC, DPS Shiliguri, Mr. Sharad Agarwal, Chairman SIM, Mrs. Snigdha Agarwal, Director SIM, for their continuous support. I would also like to thank Professor Dr. S. Nagarajan, Principal SIM, for always guiding us and helping us bring the best out of whatever we do. Today, computer has emerged as a very powerful machine that has made its place in almost everyone's life, irrespective of where he lives or what is his profession. And everything in a computer is zeros and ones, that is bits. Bit is a basic unit of information in computing and digital communications. The name is a blend of two words, binary and digit. That is binary digit. It is a logical state that can be represented as either 1 or 0, true or false, yes or no, on or off, etc. Bit is so simple yet so powerful that it has literally connected the entire world and brought the people closer who would have otherwise never known each other. Even if a single bit is altered during message transmission, it may lead to an error. But surprisingly, we don't receive any altered mail or message. In English, bit means a small piece or part. We can understand its significance from the sayings like, every small effort counts, or Rome was not built in a day, or boond boond se sagar banta hai. Similarly, we have made the first issue of our newsletter bitwise, page by page, assembling the contributions of our students, faculty members, technical staff, and head of the department, Dr. Papri Ghosh. As one of the editors, it gives me immense happiness to announce the release of the first issue of Bitwise, the name that first came to the mind of respected Shumanta sir. The highlights of this issue are our toppers, placement news, our students, and faculty achievements, and various departmental events organized. Apart from what we have included, the contributions of the students, alumni, faculties, technical staff, like articles, photography, sketches, poems, etc. It is a small but sincere effort from our side, and we are really happy and we hope you like it. We look forward to some valuable suggestions from you that will help us improve and come up with the next issue of Bitwise in the next semester. Thank you so much. And Papri ma'am, please, if you could tell our viewers how they can access Bitwise from the website.
Yeah. After this PPT is over, I can share my screen.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. In the screen, you can see the glimpses of.
Okay, fine. I am sharing my screen now. Hello, am I audible?
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Okay. In our website, we can see that in our departmental page, you can go to the Computer Science and Engineering departmental page, and here you can see there the Bitwise newsletter is there, and you can click on the overview. So after that, this website will be open for the Bitwise. Here you can see the vision of the department, mission of the department, and the mission of the Bitwise, message from the head, convener name, editorial name, and mentors and proofreaders name. And after that, if you click on the current issue, then you can see the Bitwise. Here you can read it out by scrolling down the page. And if you want to download it, you can easily click on the red button here you will be able to download this the PDF version of the Bitwise. So you can download it and you can read it on your own device. Thank you so much for being us. Thank you so much. And obviously, I want to thanks to Miss Amrita ma'am and Mr. Arindam sir to be the editorial member. Without both of your contribution, it was not possible. You have given your 100% on, sorry, 200% to make this event possible. So thank you again. And I want to thanks to all the other member of the CSE, Shantosh sir, Jayashri ma'am, and Shuman sir, Niloy sir, and these students of CSE who have contributed to the Bitwise. And we hope that in the current issue also, we will receive more and more articles, photographs, sketches, and your contribution so that we can upload it in the Bitwise. Thank you, Amrita ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Over to you, Anshuman sir. Hello, Anshuman sir.
Ma'am, I think
that was wonderful.
And one more thing I want to add, that the name was this basically in the year of 2012 we have come up with a CSE magazine under the supervision of Mr. Shumanto Nag. I want to thank to Shumanto sir to name Bitwise for the magazine, and we thought to again come up with the same name for the newsletter. So I want to thank to Shumanto sir also for the name. Thank you, sir. Shumanto sir, you want to say something?
Yeah, really thanks. And the best part is that thank you everybody. And it was a great effort. So what I saw just now, it was a fantastic effort by everybody, all the teachers and students taken together, to revive this particular effort that was taken quite some time back, quite some years back. And I feel, as I was seeing the presentation, I feel it has really come up well, and I'm sure with time this is going to be even better, and it's going to inspire many more, to follow. So this is more like an inspiration for everybody. So I thank each and every member out here who has contributed so deeply in order to. In fact, I know that it was really done in a haste, and the day that was chosen, that is also very appropriate. So thanks everybody for reviving this effort of the department.
Thank you so much, sir, for being with us always, as always. And we hope that we'll be there in the future also with us as a mentor. Anshuman sir, are you there?
Yes, I'm very much there, ma'am.
Yeah,
even if you don't want to be there, but I'm there. Fine. Anyhow, we are at the end of our session. Congratulations to the CSE team for coming out with Bitwise, and a happy International Women's Day to all of you, not only to female, to all the male, because as the Sufis believe, there is a woman in everything. Every creative person is a woman, and as Virginia Woolf says, there is a man in a creative woman and a woman in a creative male. So happy Women's Day to all of you. God bless you all. Stay well, stay connected. Thank you so much. We are ending the session, Principal Sir.
Yes. And I take this opportunity to convey one message to all the men over here, because I got a lot of representation from other gender. Where you are only celebrating Women's Day. Why not Men's Day? And on this occasion, I assure you that we will have Men's Day celebrations soon. With that, we'll wind up this.
Celebrated.
Already I have posted attendance link in the chat box. All are requested to submit the attendance. And not only online mode, today we are going to have offline celebration also. I request every one of you to assemble in a seminar hall at 4 p.m. for the offline celebration. Thank you so much for joining.
Please take the group photo.
have taken one, but in case you insist, we can take another one. Can all of you switch on your cameras, please? Switch on your cameras, please. Thank you, Nirmika ma'am, for switching on your camera. Neha, Gayatri ma'am, thank you for switching on camera. Sir, Tapun sir, can you please switch on your camera? Ankita, can you please switch off your camera? Thank you, Ankita ma'am, for switching on your camera. Ankita Gu, her student, please switch on your camera. Good to see you after a long time. Ashmita, please switch on your camera. So here we go. Just a minute.